BIPB, Jabatan Pendidikan Politeknik dan College Committee. My team members are Associate Professor Dr. Nolida Alias from Universiti Malaya and Associate Professor Dr. Dorothy Dewitt from Universiti Malaya. BIPB, Jabatan Pendidikan Politeknik dan College Committee. My team members are Associate Professor Dr. Nolida Alias from Universiti Malaya and Associate Professor Dr. Dorothy Dewitt from Universiti Malaya, Faculty of Education. Right, so the title of my initiative is the Problem Solving Flipped Classroom Module in Culinary Arts. Now, let's look at this when you are in class. We focus on developing students' technical developing beyond technical skills. What we seem not to have is the curriculum materials, resources, and we may not know how to teach using authentic tasks or work processes systematically. Now, the rationale of this study of this initiative was instructors were found that they lacked pedagogical skills and knowledge on how to teach for problem solving. They had shortage of curriculum, resources, materials, and even time to teach for problem solving, and they hence focused more on developing students' technical skills. Now, graduates also were found to have poor performance in problem solving, and culinary arts students were unable to transfer knowledge to new environments and meet the standards of the workplace. Hence, the objective of the module and the initiative are, firstly, is to design and develop instructional materials and resources, because once you have real-world resources, authentic tasks and scenarios from industry experts in subject matters, it helps to develop, it helps you to teach problem solving. Now, instructors also need support. So, how can this be done? Is to give them the guidance on how to teach for problem solving, and to develop students' problem solving skills and improve their learning. We expose students to more situations in authentic context so that they can reflect how those concepts that they learn are actually reflected in a real world. Now, and we also would like to design lessons using problem solving activities that are transferable to authentic professional problems. And we suggest trying to flip the lesson or the unit which students are struggling the most to grasp. Now, the approach is quite simple. In the flipped classroom, the understanding of concepts happens before class. So, using Telegram as an application, instructors share bite-sized material, for example, videos, audio clips, even conducting online polls, sharing PDF files. They also use Telegram to also post questions to students and answer students' queries, and also to post announcements. A platform, a learning management system such as Culinary, is used to access instructions, resource, media, and materials systematically. Now, this is arranged in a lesson plan format according to the phases of instruction of the instructional model being used. This is an example of what happens before class. For example, students answer an interactive quiz where there are green boxes in checks which actually have questions to test students' knowledge and comprehension. This is done before class. Next, online polls. Okay, let's look at what can even happen using the authentic task that I'm mentioning. See the video. The use of equipment. In the previous way of teaching, students were only given this is a picture of the equipment and this is the name of it. But how is it used in the real world? And that's how the use of authentic tasks comes in place. Before class, students get also to come prepared before hands-on class. For example, for a lesson where students need to prepare vegetable cutting, instead of only seeing vegetable cutting for the first time in class, they actually get to prepare a replica of the vegetable cuts before coming to class. It looks simple, right? But it really does help to help them to understand concepts better. So what happens in a class, in a hands-on class, where students actually apply the concepts they learn before class during the face-to-face class or the hands-on practicum class. Okay, let's say if it's a face-to-face class which usually uses lecture. This time, students actually solve real-world scenarios, and these scenarios were actually obtained from these are authentic tasks. The module also has lessons which are very relatable to workplace, but it's not. It is only touched in a very superficial manner in the current curriculum. So please listen to what the instructor of the module says. For example, the concept of HACCP, which is a very important hygiene and
Kurikulum yang asal ni dia banyak bagi topik secara umum sahaja, dia tak detail. Jadinya adalah inisiatif pensyarah untuk bagi sebanyak detail yang mana. Tapi berdasarkan dengan modul flip classroom ni, sebenarnya lebih lah daripada apa yang kurikulum minta. Pada saya bagus lah.
Contoh yang
contohnya macam contoh kalau contohnya macam sanitation. Kita sekarang ajar macam kebersihan diri, kebersihan tempat kerja, storage, macam tu je lah. FIFO itu pun sikit sahaja, tapi dalam modul ni memang dah include sekali contoh-contoh macam mana HACCP, apa itu HACCP. So memang dah advance lah pada diorang. Pada saya memang bagus lah, supaya nanti diorang dekat industri nanti diorang tak adalah macam culture shock kan, macam terkejut tak pernah dengar pun HACCP ni apa kan. So pada saya bagus lah.
So that's the way authentic resources will actually source from the industry. Next.
Kurikulum.
Another example that I would like to share is how previous students were. This is an important concept about herbs, spices, and flavoring. It's very important for a culinary student to know these spices. Unfortunately, students still struggle between differentiating bunga lawang and bunga cengkeh when they go for industrial training. So what happened was one of the learning activities designed in this module was blind sensory test for spices, herbs, and flavoring, which was first demonstrated by the instructor, and then blind sensory test for spices, herbs, and flavorings by the students. Okay, so you can see it's from a simple to a more difficult progress. And next, they had blind sensory test for spices in a blended form. Okay, the reason why is because the task in class involves them to actually prepare their own spice blends. Okay, they had a task of preparing their own spice blends. They were also shown a video on how spice blends, the basic spice blends, are actually used in the industry. Okay, and then they had a task of preparing a variation of spice blends based on the recipe. So that's an example of spice blends being sold in one of the kitchen establishments in one of the 5-star hotels in Malaysia. So students were actually given that task, and they had to present. So this prepares students for an entrepreneurial mindset, where they actually presented the spice blend that they made. So this is a show, or I would like to just show how the problems progress from simple to more complex, and how the concepts are actually applied in real workplace. So another example would be the vegetable cutting. So previously, students only demonstrate and prepare the vegetables according to the names. But in this module, they are given an event order, which was sourced from the workplace. Okay? So this is a sample of an event order. And according to the instructor, this is a very good activity so that students will know what is it like to work in the workplace. So if, let's say, as the instructor mentions, let's say there's no one else on duty that day, these students will be able to think for themselves which are the suitable vegetable cuttings for this certain menu. Similarly, also for chicken, for poultry. So this is a summary of how the module works, where students come prepared before class. It's just a recap. And then during class, because in a community college, we have theoretical component and the hands-on component. So it's good to actually infuse problem-solving activities in both, so that they can see how the concepts are applied in real life. Okay, so after class, students can submit reflective responses, do presentations, and upload their work to their platform. So next would be an example of the reflective prompt that can assist students on how to reflect. So you can just play a bit maybe of the audio. Um, Students rated highly the use of authentic learning materials because it involves local context. Most of the examples available are American and British settings. Next. And so how were we able to do that? The secret was to work closely with industry practitioners and subject matter experts to design and deliver the module. So there was a significant gain in students' learning and problem-solving skills. Next. Students seem more engaged in their lessons. They seem to ask more questions nowadays. They begin to come prepared for class. They had access to real-world resources and experts, and the module is reusable, time-saving, and cost-saving. And currently, starting from this year, in the headquarters, Jabatan Pendidikan Politeknik College Community, this initiative has expanded to various courses at various polytechnics and community colleges. So the first needs analysis session was held in March to identify courses that students are struggling with. And in April, we sat with industry to come up with authentic content, tasks, and work processes for these different modules that we targeted. And more recently, we sat with flipped classroom experts to go through again the flipped classroom design, because this is courses which are engineering courses, non-engineering courses, services, 15 courses altogether. Right? And recently, just 2 weeks back, instructors were taught on how to develop their own flipped classroom resources. So that's a note from one of the participants on the applications that we taught them to use to develop full content, and they were up to date. The initiative has expanded to various courses beginning 2019. The content beyond curriculum but matches industry requirements, and the involvement of industry practitioners and subject matter experts are in module design and
much, Dr. Umar. While I applaud your effort in, developing the framework for flipped classroom, I was looking for again, transformation, coming about from innovation of this flipped classroom. I had the impression that the flipped classroom, the experience that the student go through is at the industry itself. That was the impression that I got, maybe when I read your portfolio. But this is just the normal flipped classroom, right? So, and then the one that's getting the input from the industry are the lecturers, which should be the way, because you should get input from your stakeholders. But where is the flip part? I thought the flipping happens in the industry. That would be transformative. That's not flipping. The flipping is the student's experience. If they got the experience from the industry, that would be something that is different. So that was. I love your framework. I think it's very good. This whole flipped classroom framework. But I was looking for that.
students are in the first semester. They just and now they're working already. So I think the module actually encourage them to actually. That's the biggest impact happening in the industry. I think we tried our best to industry, and more importantly, today. The initiative has expanded to various courses beginning 2019. The content beyond curriculum but matches industry requirements, and the involvement of industry practitioners and subject matter experts are in module design and implementation. That's all. Thank you very much.
Much, Dr. Umar. Um, while I applaud your effort in, developing the framework for flipped classroom, I was looking for the, again, transformation, coming about from innovation of this flipped classroom. I had the impression that the flipped classroom, the experience that the student go through is at the industry itself. That was the impression that I got, maybe when I read your portfolio. But this is just the normal flipped classroom, right? So, and then the one that's getting the input from the industry are the lecturers, which should be the way, because you should get input from your stakeholders. But where is the flip part? I thought the flipping happens in the industry. That would be transformative. That's not flipping. The flipping is the student's experience. If they got the experience from the industry, that would be something that is different. So that was. I love your framework. I think it's very good. This whole flipped classroom framework. But I was looking for that.
The students are in the first semester. They just and now they're started working already. So I think the module actually encourage them to actually. That's the biggest impact happening in the industry. I think we tried our best to industry, and more importantly, typical TMAT classroom would be this. Yeah. Both cognitive and psychomotor, because you need the psychomotor, and then the cognitive, because you can't use their problem. Solve a problem with different ways, so it's actually both cognitive, because actually previously it was more psychomotor, but now there's this cognitive element.
For some others. But here it will require, there's a difference between requiring students to prepare before class. I mean, saying that students have to come up vegetable cutting. It's just like preparing themselves before class. Does it really a flip classroom? So, a flipped classroom would require extensive reading on students' part, where when they come to class, it's gonna be more of discussion, high-end discussion, where like students are already prepared with the content that they need for the and
Sent before class or a minute, not only notes, but also interactive videos and also videos without any embedded questions. So the minute of resources thing is not the same for all the lessons. So there's a variety. So it
okay.
depends.
So the one issue about flipped classroom is we really need to know that the students are prepared and have gone through all the materials before class. That is something that you need to make sure. The other one, because you are putting these two together, problem solving. I didn't really get to see your problem solving questions just now because it's not very clear on your slides. But what are the problem solving question that really require higher order thinking, that needs students to prepare beforehand, and when they come to class, what is it that they have to do? When they go to the industry, what is it that they have to do? Like that's not very clear when you say problem solving flip classroom, as though you put those two together, but I don't see it as very different.
In here, because we have two things to be. The first is to face with the theoretical concept. So those problem troubleshooting problems. According to students, in primary arts, there are mistakes caused. Problems are caused by mistakes, and problems caused by changes in situation. Okay, so but during class, for the theoretical students, we focus on problems which are caused by mistakes. Whereas for hands-on, we choose problems which are caused by decision-making problems, design problems. So there's a different focus on which type of problem types we are solving to go how much of concepts that they need to know. Okay, according to the concept, for community college students, 20 minutes, even 20 minutes is already too much of preparing. So we try to put in a million of resources, not only text-based, videos, and how to make sure they come prepared is actually to give them rewards. And then the questions are embedded. Also, from my experience of implementing the module, for the 9 lessons, I think the first 3 lessons students struggled because they realized that they didn't come prepared and wouldn't be able to follow up. So the instructor actually did some short briefing and gave time for them to prepare a bit before class. But after lesson 3 onwards, they knew the advanced